Hey everybody, this is Dan Bauer. I'm making my second YouTube video on this channel, and it's going to be mostly, it's going to be all about Palantir. And I'm going to go through Q2, pieces of Q2 earnings call for Palantir, and then pieces of Q3 earnings call. And I kind of want to give a better idea of what we can and maybe expect from the Q4 earnings call. But on top of that, I think it's very, 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 very important when it comes to investing to listen to the earnings calls, look at the net income, or not the net income, but yes, look at the net income. Look at the income statements, the balance sheets, any other investor presentations they might have, or conferences they hold, or interviews with the CEO, the CTO, the CFO. We want to know these things. Why? Because it gives us a better insight on what's happening with the business, where it's going in between earnings calls. What might affect, news that might be coming out that might affect what earnings, maybe not what earnings is going to be at the end of this quarter, but the next quarter, the next year, the next 5 years. You know what I mean? This all matters. You have to be, in a matter of, if this is the right word, perspicacious, have, a mindset of seeing things, before they happen. And if we can listen to these earnings calls and pick out the good stuff and hear, from the company's C-level executives' mouths that these are the things we're working on, this is how we're going to execute them. And this is where we're going to end up because of them. And we have to think about that. Anyways, I'm going to go straight into this. I just wanted to throw that in as an intro. I'm going to start right here. This is a good part I thought that I'd like to listen
within the company, which the CEO calls Novartis's, quote, fundamental advantage over its peers. We launched AIP just 10 weeks ago, and already we're seeing unprecedented inbound interest. AIP is also opening expansion conversations with our largest
So when he said unprecedented interest, right? This goes into a prior video. I probably should have put this in this YouTube video, but it's going to be a long one, so I didn't want to throw that in there. But in an interview right around this time where this Q3 earnings came out, or Q2 earnings came out, he said that the demand is so strong that we can't keep up with it. So let's keep going. It's going to corroborate after you hear what happens in the next earnings call that I clipped out.
Longest tenured customers, as the new capabilities are causing them to reimagine how they can use our software. Looking at both existing and new customers, AIP is the solution for organizations who want to wield LLMs securely in their enterprise. We remain focused on aggressively capitalizing on this momentum by driving compounding growth of AIP usage. As this fast-moving market evolves and expands, so too will we. And it's just the beginning. This increasing demand will be incremental to the results you see today. Our U.S. commercial business continues to deliver outsized results. With our rapidly growing customer count, we are seeing the beginning of the network effects in the segment. Whether at events like...
You hear that? He says rapidly growing customer accounts on the commercial side. Now, we know they have strong military presence where they have a lot of contracts from the Army, the Navy, just the military and the governments in particular. That's where a lot of their revenue comes from, these massive contracts, because their biggest contracts are going to be military and government contracts. I'm going to keep going.
AIPCon through direct customer referrals to their network, or by leaders working with us in one organization, taking us with them to their next one. We expect the expansion effect to be multiplicative. At the same time, we're seeing success across many different industries. In Q2, we closed deals in U.S. commercial in roughly 30 different industries, including across pharmaceuticals, energy, consumer staples, utilities, healthcare, construction, automotive, transportation infrastructure. The list goes on and spans industries and institutions at the core of today's society.
I want to pause it right here. You hear how many industries these guys are getting into? I mean, we're not talking about we just take care of the Army and the government or military and the government, let's say, because it's not just Army. It's the the military. We take care of not just one. We can use our products to improve not just one sector of commercial business, but all sectors. That brings the total addressable market for their software way up. And we'll get to why I think that they're going to capitalize huge over the course of the next few years and what that's going to do for this company.
While we see the breadth of our software spanning industries, we still have immense opportunity for growth, both through expansion within these industries and growth in our existing customer relationships. For example, we're beginning to see this growth come to fruition in both healthcare and transportation, which grew 93% and 129% year over year, respectively. Foundry is being used at numerous healthcare facilities to generate nurse schedules and forecast patient placements, among other applications. For example, with Foundry, HCA now generates nurse schedules in 1 hour each month instead of 10 to 20. Tampa General has seen a 28% reduction in patient hold times and has reduced the time spent managing patient placements by 83%. And Cleveland Clinic has been able to accept an 8.5% increase in patient transfers from other hospitals in just 4 months since launch.
You hear that? 83% in reduction on time. 8.5% customer. We'll go back just a little bit. I want to hear that again. We'll go back here a little bit.
And patient hold times and has reduced the time spent managing patient placements by 83%. And Cleveland Clinic has been able to accept an 8.5% increase in patient transfers from other hospitals.
So you know how much money that saves these guys, and then adds at 8.5 increase. You know what I mean? Like this is huge stuff. And if they can provide this value for these two and these two companies, and Tampa General and Cleveland Clinics, they can provide this sort of value for these customers with their software. Think about like all the other, and we'll get into it. Think about all the other industries and think about all the other hospitals. We're just talking about Tampa Bay General and Cleveland Clinics. The amount of freaking hospitals are in this country. I should Google that right now. I'm going to actually Google that. How many hospitals are in the U.S.? But think about it like across, so 6,120 hospitals across the U.S. All right, let's go back to where we were. 61. Think about across the world. What if they get, they're doing revolutionary shit. It's just.
In just 4 months since launch.
It is what it is.
While we continue to increase our breadth and expansion across industries, we also continue to grow at our existing customers. We had over 24 U.S. commercial customers that brought in more than $1 million in revenue each during last quarter alone. And we're seeing outsized growth from our newest customers. 54% of the U.S. commercial revenue, excluding strategic commercial contracts, is from customers that have started since the beginning of 2021, with nearly all of the year-over-year growth coming from those same customers. We expect this trend to continue. We are investing in pockets of momentum within our.
All right, that's what I got for that. I already covered all of that pretty much, but I'm going to slide to another spot in this earnings call that I think is importante. Let's go here. Bam, there we go. That's where I started.
In closing, we just wrapped up our annual Hack Week. Right after this call, I'll be binge watching all the submissions from the teams internally. I'm very much looking forward to further acceleration of our roadmaps from compelling new ideas.
He said after he's going to binge watch all of their presentations and all their stuff, right? This is the type of dedication you want from your C-level executives in a company. Right after the earnings call, I'm going to go freaking work my ass off and so we can increase the productivity of the business and how we're doing things. I want to know. You know what I mean? That type of dedication is that Elon Musk type of dedication where I sleep on the freaking floor at the freaking factory on the assembly line because I want to succeed with the vision of this company so bad. And this is the CTO talking, not just the CEO, the CTO, the Chief Technology Officer. I mean, so let's continue.
I'll turn it over to Dave to walk through the financials.
Thanks, Sean. The second quarter of 2023 was exceptionally strong. We're proud to report our third consecutive quarter of GAAP profitability and second consecutive quarter of GAAP operating profitability, generating $28 million of net income and $10 million of operating income. This also marked the third consecutive quarter of expanding adjusted operating margins, highlighting the operating leverage in our business. We surpassed the high end of our guidance for both revenue and adjusted income from operations yet again. We also achieved a significant revenue milestone, surpassing $2 billion in revenue on a trailing 12-month basis for the first time. We remain committed to driving profitable growth, and we reaffirm our expectation of GAAP profitability in each quarter of this year, which would make us eligible for inclusion in the S&P 500 following our Q3 results.
Which, by the way, fast forward to Q3, which I already listened to, they are eligible to be in an S&P 500. When they, or if they, it's not a matter of if they, it's a matter of when they get included. We have to understand that now all these pension funds, all these big institutions, hedge funds are all going to have to allocate a little bit. Every time somebody buys the SPY, which is the ETF for the S&P 500 index, every time somebody buys it, they buy a little bit of Palantir. They buy a little bit of Palantir. How many people have 401ks that invest every week? And part of their investment in the 401k is the S&P 500. So we have to understand that that's also going to push. Because there are people who just buy through their 401k and don't sell for 30, 40, 50 years. You know what I'm saying? And that's meaningful because those are shares that are held up. They're just held up, which creates less supply per the demand for the stocks, shares. Anyways, let me just
turning to our global top line results. We generated $533 million in revenue, up 13% year over year and 2% sequentially, exceeding the high end of the range of our prior guidance. Excluding the impact of revenue from strategic commercial contracts, total revenue grew 16% year over year and 5% sequentially. Revenue from our largest customers continues to expand. Trailing 12-month revenue per customer from our top 20 customers increased 15% year over year to $53 million per customer. Customer count grew 38% year over year and 8% sequentially to 421 customers, demonstrating the momentum in our ability to onboard and convert new customers. Now moving to our commercial segment. Second quarter commercial revenue grew 10% year over year and declined 2% sequentially to $232 million, a challenging sequential compare.
Okay. So you heard that they're growing more customers. What is that? 421 they said. 421 on the customer count. I'll probably write that in. We have to understand that these guys, at a part of this earnings call, they talk about their this guy right here, the CFO, he talks about their gross margin. Gross margin is 81%. That's pretty incredible. We're going to go into another part of this. We're going to go straight to the Q3 because, there's a lot of stuff about this that I think is great for this particular earnings call, but I want to go straight into the Q3 because there's a lot of good things about the question and answer. You know what I might do? I might go to one specific question that I want to hear about all the way back here. Where is he at? Bam. This guy. There we go. We'll go to Dan's question.
What if you could use retirement accounts to invest in crypto? With iTrust Capital, you can't.
All right. We'll go to Dan's question. Oops. Oh.
Thank you both. Our next question is from Dan with Wedbush. Dan, please turn on your camera, and then you'll receive a prompt to unmute your line.
Hello? Yeah, thank you. Great call and just a phenomenal insight that you provided. I guess my question would be, when it comes to AIP, what surprised you Alex and the team, in other words, the last 10 weeks, has it surprised you just what we've seen from customers, just how dramatic the sort of surge of interest has been?
Sean should also talk about this, but what has very much surprised me is the way in which American institutions have metabolized the lessons of the last software wave. So they have a much deeper understanding of what the problem would be that you would solve. And the operators, so the people actually running the business in America, realize the determinant variable for changing their margins, changing their profit, and outmaneuvering their competition is AI. And so then you have the dynamic with the board. The board is insisting on governance. The operators are insisting on adoption. This is very, very different than anything I've ever seen. Typically, with software intervention from the outside, you've got to convince the CIO, the board doesn't care, and the operator is focused on business metrics. Here, the operators are saying, I know, for example, I was talking to one of the largest transporters of people in the world, and the operator is saying, okay, I know we have a problem with churn. I know we have a problem with logistics. These problems can only be solved algorithmically, but I can't solve them unless I have a governance structure that allows me to solve them because my board will go nuts. That is basically a shape of a problem only we can solve.
You hear that? You hear that? That is going to be something that they can only solve. What I'm trying to say here is that they have a lock on this particular segment of software for data. And it's them and pretty much nobody else. You have different companies that do different things with data. But these guys have a specialized approach, and they're just head and shoulders above the others, which I think is just incredibly important. Now let's go to Q3. Dun, dun, dun. We'll go here. All right.
In my view,
We'll start all the way back from where I want to go to the intro. Right here.
We are pleased to report that our company achieved GAAP profitability for the fourth consecutive quarter, and we continue to drive strong results across our company. In Q3, we closed 80
This is where S&P 500 inclusion comes in.
deals of $1 million or more across 30 industries.
More deals.
29 deals of $5 million or more across 16 industries, and 12 deals of $10 million or more across 11 industries. Our U.S. commercial business accelerated last quarter, growing 33% year over year. Excluding strategic commercial contracts, it grew 52% year over year and 19% sequentially. And 3/4 of our quarter over quarter growth is from customers that started with us in 2023. Our U.S. commercial customer count rose 12% quarter over quarter and is now tenfold what it was just 3 years ago.
You hear that? Tenfold what it was 3 years ago. So they 10x'd in 3 years. Think about the acceleration that's coming.
Deal count for our U.S. commercial business is 2.4x what it was in Q3 of last year, and U.S. commercial TCV closed at $252 million, up 55% year over year on a dollar-weighted duration basis.
You hear that? Freaking growing by 55%. 55% year over year. Oh, you have to understand how freaking amazing that is. I want to go. Let's go check out one other. You know what? We'll listen to a little bit more of this.
We're also seeing the acceleration of larger deals and shorter times to conversion and expansion, including a multi-year deal in excess of $40 million with one of the largest home construction companies in the U.S. that started a pilot and converted, all within Q3. This growth is in part due to AIP's continued transformation of the way we partner with and deliver value for our customers, and we expect AIP's impact to continue to intensify. The rapid expansion of AIP at both our existing and new customers and the impact it is having on their operations is nothing short of remarkable. In the last quarter, we reoriented our go-to-market approach around AIP bootcamps, which has allowed us to deliver real workflows on actual customer data in 5 days or less. versus our traditional pilots, which generally take 1 to 3 months. We're seeing different stakeholders at the table, including tangible engagement from IT, a quicker time to value for customers, a wider range of organizations partnering with us, and the ability to have multi-organization boot camps. Early indications point to vast improvements on our unit economics, from initial contact to customer conversion, all while accelerating new customer negotiations. Boot camps are also driving contract expansions. We're on track to conduct boot camps for more than 140 organizations by the end of November. Nearly half of those are taking place this month alone.
You hear that? It's corroborating the demand that Alex Karp talked about back around Q2. And on top of that, $40 million deal with one of the biggest home builders in the U.S. Okay, all right. Let's understand here that these guys are in so many different industries. Their software product is increasing the ability of these customers in all these different industries to streamline their business in a more efficient, optimized, and productive manner. And that's important. Very important.
Which is more than the number of U.S. commercial pilots we conducted all of last year. In these boot camps, our customers attack problems that have immediate impact and learn how to deploy AI into their unique operating environment in a matter of days. Our customers' results speak for themselves. One attendee said that we achieved more in one day for them with AIP than one of the top 3 hyperscalers had accomplished over the last 4 months, and then presented their work with Palantir instead of the hyperscaler to the CEO the very next day. Another attendee said, we basically built 10x faster with 3x less resources, and yet another claimed, we built in a day what they wouldn't be able to get internally in months, and then it probably still wouldn't meet the requirements. AIP is being used for a
That's huge. You know who the hyperscalers are? Amazon, AWS, Microsoft, Oracle. Those are the hyperscalers. And they're like blowing them out of the water. That's huge. That's such a disruption. If you want to be in like let's look at it. If you want to be invested in a company, Palantir has no debt. They're growing and they're growing good, and they're going to continue to grow more. As let's look at it. They just said 140 customer bootcamp AIP type thing is coming on in the next month and a half, 2 months, right? At this point in time, they've already done all those. Think about it. Let's say they only got 10%. So that's 14 customers. Okay. But as good as their product is, let's say they got, let's give them 20%, 28 customers. But their product is so good, and you're hearing it right here, how good their product is, that we're going to see, I think, way bigger. And what is that going to do? That's going to reflect in future quarters' revenues, maybe not into Q4, but definitely into 2024. And that's going to be huge. And I think this is going to be the year that fucking they blow up. And that's what we need to see. We need to see them blow up. We need to see them blow up. And I think that's not going to be a problem. All right, let's go to another part of this earnings call that I thought was pretty good. Dun, dun, dun. Let's go.
Release of virtual tables in Foundry, IT's primary objection of data duplication is eliminated. We're running more boot camps per month than we had U.S. commercial pilots all last year. These boot camps really allow the customer to experience 3 magic moments for themselves. First, that you really can't use LLMs without tools. That elegant integration of algorithmic reasoning to unlock the full potential. Second, that the object, in other words, the rich representation of your enterprise and its state, and not chat, is the prompt. Or said differently, the bootcamp experience enables them to transcend chat. And finally, the power of live integration of expert feedback through the AIP infrastructure to efficiently generate adaptive models. At the end of the bootcamp, customers say things like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. As Ryan mentioned, it's common to hear attendees express that they could do in days what they couldn't previously with other AI technologies in months.
I think that's huge. I think that's super huge. They can do in days what they couldn't even do in months. with Palantir, you might not get every customer. You're not going to get everybody. But holy smokes, they're going to snag up a ton more commercial business. All right, I'm going to move on to another part that I thought was a pretty good part of the earnings call.
And related employer payroll taxes was $163 million, representing adjusted operating margin of 29%, 400 basis points ahead of the high end of our prior guidance and marking the fourth consecutive quarter of expanding adjusted operating margins. Q3 adjusted expense was $395 million, down 1% sequentially.
Okay, so their operating margin went up quarter over quarter. That's huge. That's always good. Their operating margin went from 25, 26 to 30%, which is what 29, 30%, something like that, right? Pretty huge. All right, so I'm going to go to this other one right here that I liked here. Where we go? We got. I think this is a big part here.
Titan team. And I think from our perspective, America needs your primes. Like, our national security depends on them. There's a lot of talk in defense tech circles about disrupting the primes. And I think there's incredible opportunity to transform what's possible with software, which, in my opinion, we're leading. But fundamentally, they're crucial to our national security. And that's because production does matter. You have to bend metal at the end of the day. And using 10 years of munitions in 10 weeks in Ukraine really underscores that point. But increasingly, production is itself software-defined and optimized. In fact, that's most of our commercial business. Helping Airbus with the A350 and single-aisle ramp-up, helping BP produce more hydrocarbons, helping Panasonic build more batteries for Tesla cars. Like, that sort of transformation and efficiency is what we want to bring to the primes as well as they bend metal.
Maybe what Sean's done a really magnificent job of is, it's fair to say the primes thought we were competitive with them until recently.
Okay, I want to stop it there. You hear the customers they're working with? Panasonic, BP, Airbus. Airbus, they streamlined Airbus's products, their supply chain and everything, optimized it for better productivity, which it did do. There was an interview I'll cover in another video because this one's getting kind of long. There's another interview I want to cover about specifically the part about the Airbus and how amazing that was. They took their software, pretty much put Airbus in line with how many planes they wanted to do on that year of ramp for the A350. And Airbus wouldn't have got there without Palantir. That's the type of value. Think about it. Let's think about it in this manner. All these big companies, CEOs, CFOs, they donate to charity for tax write-offs, right? And they all get invited to these charity events, right? And then all these CEOs and CFOs and CTOs and all those C-level executives get to talking to other companies' C-level executives. Oh, they might talk about how, or get asked how, let's say a company doesn't have Palantir, but they know about Palantir, or they don't even know that it was Palantir that did that. How did you guys manage to ramp up the A350? Oh, Palantir. Oh my gosh, their freaking software is this, and that. And then this CEO, let's just say this C-level executive goes on and talks to their board. And next thing you know, Palantir is working with that company. And here's an example of that. I'm going to pull this up right here. It's a piece of news that just came out recently. Let's talk about it like this. The NHS contract that they just pulled, huge. It was like $580 million over 6 years or something, or 580 over 5 years. I think that's what it was. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty close. I can get things wrong, but for the most part, that's pretty close. All right. So here's what we're going to talk about here and finish it off. So Palantir partners with one of Australia's leading retailers. Coles supermarkets will deploy Palantir platforms to all 850 stores in Australia. So that's going to be a big deal. 850 stores? But think about this. So this company is not just in the U.S. They're international, and they're international in governments. They're international in other big retailers now in other countries. Think about like the massive total addressable TAM that is for this software company. It's going to be freaking huge. Okay, so Palantir Technologies, I'm going to read this off. Palantir Technologies, Inc., a leading provider of AI systems, and Coles Supermarket Australia, one of the leading Australian supermarket, retail, and consumer services chains, announced today a 3-year partnership to deliver a suite of workforce strategy and analytics tools. Palantir platforms will bring an innovative approach to driving operational excellence, improving the way Coles designs, executes, and continually enhances its end-to-end workforce strategy and integrated supply chain functions. Think about it. They're helping Panasonic with their supply chain functions. They're helping Airbus with their supply chain functions. They're helping many other companies. Komatsu, I could go down a whole list, right? They're now helping these guys. Their software is so good that everybody wants to use them for their supply chains. And to make the world go round, it is necessary for supply chain optimization. If everything operates more smoothly and these companies make better money or more profits because of it, they're going to continue to use Palantir. And guess what? The beautiful thing about Palantir is continuing to innovate. There's another beautiful thing about Palantir. Companies led by their founders almost always perform better. If you accumulate everything between companies that are led by founders or hired on CEO, CFO, blah, 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 they don't do as well stock-wise. So we have to understand that these guys are building out, and in the last earnings call, they said they're not for sale. Their company's not for sale. But they're also not looking to acquire. So their cash position is just going to keep getting more large. What are they going to do with that cash? They're eventually probably going to use more money to buy back shares, which is what? Going to push the stock price up. This is a huge deal. Let me finish with this. So Coles will leverage Palantir platforms, including the artificial intelligence platform, across its store operations to better understand and address workforce-related spend. By integrating data into one system, Coles will connect its C-suite to the shelf edge in stores across its more than 840 supermarkets. Coles plans to support decision-making to optimize its workforce, including better workforce planning, shift efficiency, and a more granular understanding of spend as it relates to enhancing the experience for shoppers. Critically, store and department managers will be able to make real-time decisions to optimize costs and improve both customer and team member experience. In line with a broader data strategy, we have partnered with Palantir to explore opportunities to operationalize our advanced analytics smarter forecast and redefine how we think about our workforce. We are excited by the capability the Foundry platform brings to rapidly leverage beyond dashboards and provide a suite of tools utilizing AI in our frontline teams. This will allow them to respond more dynamically to ever-changing trading conditions and customers' needs, said Matt Swindles, Chief Operating and Sustainability Officer. Our development work with Palantir has demonstrated how we can enhance our ability to ensure all departments are optimally resourced to provide not only the best return on workforce spend, but to drive better customer outcomes in store. The most exciting part is that we are only just beginning, which means they're going to fucking work harder over time. Probably they're going to sign more contracts with Palantir, and they're going to talk to their other teams and everybody else about Palantir and how great it is. And Palantir is just going to grow and grow and grow. All right, so we'll just, with a detailed roadmap of work to deliver over the coming years in line with our Simplify and Save to Invest program. Configured on Palantir, the suite of workforce tools will identify opportunities over 10 billion rows of data, comprising each store, team member, shift, and allocation across all intervals in a day, every day. Foundry enables these capabilities by bringing legacy data systems and machine learning into a shared end-to-end view of Coles' retail ecosystem, including bakery production planning tools for in-store bakeries and Ocado fulfillment centers. Our Partnership with Kohl's, an iconic Australian retailer, demonstrates the strength of our Australian commercial business and continues our growth in retail industry globally, said Ashwin Rajan, head of commercial for Australia at Palantir. Our collaboration showcases how Palantir can be integral to the core operations of Kohl's. In a challenging retail environment, we are intending to enable Matt and the operations teams to drive their digital transformation agenda at scale, empowering frontline teams to leverage the latest in AI and data to deliver enhanced customer and profit and loss outcomes every day. Palantir has a long history of helping some of the world's most important organizations solve their most complex problems and is working with several leading retailers across the globe. More on Palantir's retail offering can be found at Palantir's retail offering. I want to close this video. I know it's kind of long. But we have to understand how big this is for the guidance. All right. This is not going to come up on your Q4 earnings call, but this will come up on the guidance for the year and probably for the next couple of quarters. Who knows? That's got to be a big deal. I can't say for certain. It doesn't say how much money it is. I can't say for certain. They might pull it up. They might say something about it in the earnings call. But that's a big deal. That's a lot of stores to be in and using their. That's a lot of value that Palantir has probably already started to provide. Now, I'm not probably. Palantir has already started to provide for this company and will continue to provide over the coming 3 years. This is huge. This is huge. Huge. Palantir just keeps knocking down contract after contract. I don't know why you wouldn't invest unless you were just so against what they do. And I'm not particularly happy that they're kind of replacing workers. You know, people need jobs. But at the same time, dude, if I'm going to get replaced from my job eventually by this shit, I better fucking make money off of it. Thanks for being a part of the journey. I'll continue to make these videos. I really would appreciate if you gave me a like, a share if you found if you found value in this video, give me a like, a share with somebody you might think also would find value in this video. Please subscribe if you like my channel. A big shout out to anybody who's watching it and is supporting me. I'm going to continue with this stuff. Comment and let me know what you think. I really, really want to see that. I want to see what people think. I want to get criticized because I want to get better at this. I thank you. Have a good day, man. Have a good day, y'all.